Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So one of my subs, Errol, longtime sub, asked me to show some old changes that are actually going to, be taking place. And when I mean old changes, he meant old items and how they will be changed, sorry to say. And so I wanted to just start from using my builds, and you guys know I have a lot of off meta builds, so a lot of these things might not interest you, but you'll probably be excited about the changes to these so-called off meta builds because they've given a series of buffs in this game based on the patch notes. Look at all the weapon buffs that we have. So-called in quote off meta builds seem like they're going to be, on paper anyways, quite strong. Now, when I started running my ongoing directive gear set, I was basically trying to run the SASG, run the Pyromaniac, and a lot of people said, those don't seem to be good enough, but we've received a lot of weapon buffs. I mean, check out, assault rifle buffs. It's crazy. The police M4 got a 6.8% damage increase. So my guess is that's going to roll over to the named, P416. But I always wanted to use the Sausage 12 on this build. And look at shotguns, basically all getting a damage increase. And the Sausage 12 itself has gotten a 21% damage buff. So my sausage right now was about, I think it was doing around 600 and something thousand in the past patch. If I can go back and get you a screenshot in post-production, I'll probably do that. But now we're looking at 761 in base damage. This build was probably not too great. It was good. I've shown you guys, runs with it on legendary missions. If you haven't seen those videos, go back and check my library and you see what I've been able to do. I have Sadist on here giving me extra, extra damage, 20% weapon damage to enemies that are bleeding. And so what I've decided to do is I've decided to just come back here and kind of mix the build up a little bit. Now, this new Vow Mask is a new exotic that's going to be coming post-patch, and its goal is all about, status effect and status effect, applying that to your enemies or whatever it is. So this Toxic Delivery says status effect also apply a damage over time debuff for 10 seconds. Total damage dealt is equal to 50% of your concussion grenade damages and grenade damage and increased by your status effect attributes. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and test this setup, and then if I don't really like it, I'll go to my Coyote's mask and kind of stick with the critical hit damage setup. And because I do have more weapon damage here too, it seems like this might be a way to kind of just stay here with the Coyote's mask, stick with that damage instinct. Or if I don't want to go Coyote's mask, I can stick with my ongoing directive mask, which also gives me a lot of weapon damage, and use my Imperial Dynasty. Imperial Dynasty was changed a little bit. A lot of people are saying, oh, they nerfed Imperial Dynasty and all that stuff. I don't think they nerfed it. It's PvP players that have to worry about that burn. We in PvE don't have a problem, basically adjusting. I know sounds like a punch in the gut, but a lot of PvP players do not like adjusting. I remember when I talked about hazard protection on my comment section on how to counter this, some people said no one runs hazard protection. No one wants to run hazard protection. And I said, well, that showed me the attitude of some players anyways. They don't want to adapt. They want things nerfed. But, it's quite, interesting to see how these so-called, in quote, nerfs will affect the next raid where they have to go in there and go farm the Ravenous. But like I said, when you play PvE, you kind of, you get used to the flow and all that. So one of the interesting things that I would like to do is I like to do some gameplay using this build. And, shorting myself this weapon damage doesn't seem to be the wisest choice. But I also want to kind of mix in the old and the new and kind of try out all of that stuff and, see a larger context on, how it all works. So one of the really fun places that I think it's American History Museum, that I like to test out my builds. Is it American History Museum or Viewpoint? It's an American History Museum. I like testing out my builds there because that mission is actually quite short. But what we're going to do is we're going to test like the very first few sections and, kind of see how that runs on heroic missions, just to kind of see how your build is, see how your build still holds up. If you were to maybe throw this mask on, would it do a good job for you? That's a good question to ask. Is this going to do a good job for me, or am I going to be sitting? Now, I am running my Eagle Bearer. Don't hate. Some people say, oh, you run an Eagle Bearer. Not everybody has an Eagle Bearer. Go get an Eagle Bearer. Goodness. I literally begged for mine for such a long period of time. So let's look at ongoing directive real quick. Apparently, it's been changed as well, where the bullets, if your hollow point rounds automatically get loaded into your weapon. So I am running an ongoing directive backpack, even though I really don't want to. I want to kind of see how the chest piece and backpack talents will play. I've been running Mr. Spread over here. Where is it here? The Badger Tough, this Badger Tough backpack that has Wicked, so I can get an extra 18% more damage for enemies that are under status effect for about 20 seconds. And that's actually pretty good. I think it will actually right now show off much more. And so I'll be changing this build as we go along. So take this fool out. That was too many rounds to take out one red bar. Jeez. Okay, so I kind of have to apply the status effect in order for me to kind of trigger that. So one of the interesting things is, how do you apply your status effect and then take down your enemies? I'm running, I usually like to run, so that enemy is under a status effect. I like to run, so once they're dead, now I have the hollow point rounds. Okay, now that I have the hollow point rounds, I can deal a whole bunch more damage. When that person is down, I get more of the hollow point rounds. So you see how that's basically working out for me. But I don't have any hollow point rounds in my shotgun. But I'm using my Eagle Bear and I'll probably get it. Now let me use my shotgun to kill this NPC. Ooh, that is a lot of damage that guy was putting out. My gosh. Let me burn this fool and then... See, he wants to run away. Okay, so now I have hollow point ammo in here. And let me see how that works out for me when I get into this room. Okay, that's good. That's some good damage right there. These red bars never die, man. It just keep coming. It just keeps standing up, and yet the purples and the others always die. And these red bars just don't want to die. So, you know, you perpetually don't have to worry about that backpack talent basically, you know, having to give you the ammo, but now the backpack instead gives you an extra 100% damage done. So increases the duration of your bleed status effect by 50% and all bleed damage done by 100%. So the backpack's actually now giving you more damage, and so there's an incentive to run it rather than running something basically like, you know, having to make you quickly choose or make it a harder decision to choose between Wicked and that, you know, that backpack. Now let me change to the Coyote's Mask. I think I'll be dealing naturally, because the Coyote's Mask has a red attribute. I think I'll be dealing more weapon damage, and it will probably be much stronger because once I have the enemies marked for critical hit damage, oh yeah, there's already just a difference that you see. And if that enemy NPC that's at the back there dies, I now have that hollow point ammo, and this guy is basically gonna take somewhat of a melting. Yeah, ongoing directive just got a raise. This is so good. Oh my gosh, I really enjoy running builds like these because they're builds that are not, you know, they're not too popular. But I'm really thankful for the guy that basically I stole this build from early in Warlords of... No, I think it was before Warlords of New York. Or around then, when I just kind of like opened... He commented on my first ongoing directive video and said, yo, you stole my build. Why don't you give me credit? I was like, I gave you credit. I just didn't remember your gamer tag. So I'll clear this room out. And I think basically we can say ongoing directive is in a very strong place now. You know, now, you know, depending on the kind of content we get for the raid, depending on all that stuff, ongoing directive might still, you know, be a kind of a normie and not top tier. But, you know, I really don't care much about top tier builds, honestly. I mean, let's see what this bleed damage is really doing to these guys. I want to kill this guy because it will give me more hollow point rounds. He's under status effect. I'm still getting technician. Did you see that? I got a technician grenade. What am I going to do with that? Oh, I didn't mean to jump in there. Yeah, you gotta be strong, man, to want to run a shotgun like this. These enemy NPCs don't want to die. Are you bleeding? Yeah, it's not taking out elites fast enough. I guess because I might need a better roll on the sausage. I might just use a better shotgun, like a 1.1 million hit shotgun kind of deal. I think that's basically what it is. You know, you just need a shotgun that really does some really decent damage. Oh, my healing is actually pretty good. Oh, is it because I'm out of combat? Oh, I hit him with the crossbow. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Ooh, specialization damage also got better. So tip of despair is another one that I'm gonna show you guys. Remember, I have a tip of despair build, and nobody was running it, but now my tip of despair build is basically gonna be, you know, OP as heck. I mean, because I'll show you that in a different gameplay video so that you guys can kind of assess for yourselves and kind of see what it's all about. Okay. Let's take out I'll take out this room and then we'll go from there. But yeah, an assault rifle still seems to me the best place to be. My Eagle Bearer still seems, and that's good because I farmed so hard for this, and I don't want this to be obsolete, you know, just yet. I want it to continue to, you know, work and work. I mean, even though it was given to me, I still kind of farmed my face off. And look at this FAL. It's huge base damage, but it just doesn't have enough mag size to justify using it. But basically, that's the end of my video. I don't want to stay here and, you know, beat around the bush. This mission seems like it's something that won't be too difficult to complete because all the tools are available. It's all there. I wish I didn't have to stick with contractor's gloves every time because, you know, that damage to armor, you know, that weapon handling I don't really need. I wish I could get a pair of Fenris gloves. And all I need with that pair of Fenris gloves is just 15% weapon damage. And I just get like maybe, you know, critical hit chance and critical hit damage. And I think I'll be fine because sure, damage to armor is really, really good. But because crits are also pretty decent as well, I'll take crits. I'll take crits anytime. In fact, I'll even take headshot damage, you know, on my gloves if I can actually, you know, if I can find an item that actually has it. I'll be happy to take a pair of Fenris gloves over the contractor's gloves because I'm losing out on extra 10% assault rifle damage here. You know, I'll even be satisfied with taking, you know, what's the name? Badger Tough, because even with this backpack, many people were telling me, why don't you just run the backpack? This gives you an extra 15% weapon damage and also gives me this Wicked, which applies a status effect all around. So I can take out more enemy NPCs in the proximity and still keep my, you know, my hollow point ammo, you know, refilling and dropping. So it seems like a hard sell, but I don't think it really is. I think it makes a lot of sense to actually go this direction, or maybe lose the mask and go the, you know, regular mask, keep the contractor's gloves for the extra damage to armor and continue with the build. Now, one thing I will say with this build is this build seems to feel a lot weaker against Black Tusk. I don't know why. They just, for some reason, they're just very different. They have so much going on for them, and that's basically one weakness of it. So I guess I'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully, I'll be showing the tip of despair, showing the changes and how I feel like they're either beneficial or not really. And I guess we can talk about that in the next video. Peace out.